Hey, how you doing? Welcome to the Woody Hayes Athletic Center's bold predictions for Ohio State Rutgers.
Yeah, we're just hanging out with these guys.
These guys, it's Saturday, it's a 3:30 kickoff. It's not even a night game like that idiot Austin Ward had been saying last week. That's Spencer Holbrook and Burn. I'm Austin Ward. It's bold predictions time. I did an awesome job last week and won, of course, like I do every single week.
Yep.
Going to try and defend that crown this week as Big Ten play resumes, Burn.
Yeah, I was only 9 catches off on Emeka Egbuka's day.
Close.
So, you know, all things considered, not terrible.
Hey.
You know, I think that I need to redeem myself after a couple extremely, perhaps exceedingly bold predictions a week ago. And today I need to dial it back. I need to reel it in.
Cold
and so I'm going to
predictions.
start with a cold prediction here. TreVeyon Henderson will break the Ohio State single game rushing record with 345 yards rushing against Rutgers.
Oh my.
That's a cold
So I'm just going to
prediction.
start, I'm going to start easy.
Wow.
I think that Ohio State, Ryan Day, Tuesday said, hey, this is our guy. He's going to be getting 20 touches a game. The way I see it right now, this guy, he's got some skills. I just don't think that Rutgers, I know I watched their game against Michigan. I went back and watched it, and I know they're physical. They're playing hard. I know Blake Corum is a good running back at Michigan. Michigan has no passing threat, so I think you're able to really kind of focus on the run against them a little bit right now. You can't do that with Ohio State, and I think the Buckeyes' balanced approach turns into TreVeyon Henderson going ape poop on people on Saturday.
They're going to stuff his face.
Yeah, he's going to stuff their face.
Interesting.
So last week, my bold predictions were pretty decent. Ohio State over 600 yards. Really wanted to push the 700 mark. I think they kind of let off a little bit with in the fourth quarter late there. I think they could have got to 700 really.
They could have had 900 if they wanted.
Probably. And then there were 4 first half sacks, and there should have been 5, but it was a rush for 1 yard. I told Austin
He was in the press box begging them to change the official scoring. He's like, oh, that's a sack. I said, buddy.
Take it easy. Hey, relax,
about
buddy.
Well, there's one guy, though, that we predict something with every week who has been really quiet the last 2 weeks on offense. And Rutgers simply cannot defend him due to their best cornerback.
Clay Aiken.
Sure.
Their best cornerback shooting someone with a paintball gun.
Is he not playing this week?
Last I saw, he was still suspended.
Cool.
So the best cornerback on the roster will not be guarding Chris Olave, which means Chris Olave will have 200 receiving yards and 2 touchdowns.
You know what? Now that you bring it up that way, though, Spencer, like, I would think that means it's going to be a bigger day for Jackson Smith and Jigba. And I wasn't going to predict that, but when you bring that up, if Rutgers is playing without their top corner, I think that means that Greg Schiano will be trying to put more bracket coverage and double coverage on Chris Olave to try and neutralize him. And we know what that's going to lead to, and more catches in the slot. And Jackson Smith and Jigba is really coming on. So I wasn't going to start with this way, but just for the sake of argument, I'm going to. And I will say
Tough guy, huh?
10 catches, 150 yards, 3 touchdowns for Jackson Smith and Jigba. And I think 3 of those catches will come via the pop pass, which is my favorite play.
Yeah, I mean, it's such a smart play, especially when a quarterback is struggling to find some rhythm and struggling with accuracy down the field. It's cheap yards. I mean, Kyle McCord had 319 yards in his debut, and I think, 195 of them were after the catch or something like that. It was a lot.
Wasn't a lot of air yards.
Yeah, so, I mean, the Buckeyes are smart enough to figure out how to get these guys the ball in space, and I certainly agree with you. And that's why I think that C.J. Stroud will throw for 300 yards on Saturday, and I think he's going to do it completing 65% of his passes because that's what he's done all year long. So I'm not really going bold here, but I am saying I think C.J. Stroud, the rest had to help. I know that just as a guy who's had the shoulder injuries in my life, like that rest helps. I think the Buckeyes will keep him upright for the most part. I know Schiano's going to scheme up some stuff to try to get him under pressure and put him on the ground a little bit, but I think C.J. Stroud comes back out and reasserts himself, not just for the fans out there, but inside of the locker room to tell people, hey, this is my team, and I'm not going to give it up easily.
You think Schiano's going to cook up some gabagool?
I do. Gabagool.
All right. I am going to go to the defensive side of the ball, and I'm going to predict 3 interceptions for the Ohio State secondary.
3.
Noah Vedral does not look terrible by any means. I don't think he looks like the Arthur Sitkowskis of Rutgers past or any of those other horrendous quarterbacks that had played there
some
before.
Real gems playing QB for Rutgers.
But I think Rutgers will try to test this Ohio State defense. Ohio State, for the improvements we've seen from the Buckeyes as far as through the air right now, they really have only shown improvement against Tulsa and Akron. So we really, truly don't know exactly what they still have because they went against a horrible Tulsa offense and a horrible Akron offense.
Also hard to say they improved against Tulsa when they gave up 501 yards.
Absolutely. And so I think Rutgers will try to test this Ohio State defense, but I do think they've improved enough where they're going to throw into traffic a little bit. They're also going to be down for most of this game. 3 interceptions for this Ohio State secondary. I think they're starting to find their way and finding the ball through the air.
That the kicking game is really where this one could get interesting
certainly.
for Ohio State.
Certainly.
And if you can make a key play in the return game,
wow. Okay.
that might make a big difference for the Buckeyes. So I just have this weird feeling this week, and only this week, not every other week,
All right.
that a punt return could happen for the first time for Ohio State since 2014.
Wow. Well, we have not mentioned that before on this show, so that is extremely...
I'm trying to go a little bit bolder.
Yeah, I can see that.
Emeka Egbuka.
He's going to be returning punts?
He's going to return a punt for a touchdown.
Despite the fact that he hasn't returned punts this year.
That's right. Didn't he get the last one last week, Spencer?
Okay, now it's bold.
He sure did.
Okay, now it's bold.
Were you even at the game, Berm?
No. I stopped watching in the middle of the fourth quarter.
I don't blame you. Was that when it was? I thought it was earlier than that.
I don't know. It could have been any time.
Apparently. I thought it happened, but I know I was upset because it wasn't Cameron Martinez who was the backup punter.
Cameron Martinez should be returning punts for this football team. That is simple fact. Although maybe now he shouldn't be because he's so valuable on defense.
That's why I think that that Garrett Wilson shouldn't be involved in punt return any longer.
Totally agree.
There is such risk that can come with having one of your best players standing down the barrel of the gun. And I don't know that I would want to do that. Maybe in certain situations.
Not in New Jersey.
Definitely not in Jersey.
Yeah.
That if you have to get in a huge game and you want your best players playing as many snaps as possible, great. But I don't know that every game throughout the Big Ten season, and like if Emeka Egbuka or Cameron Martinez or whoever else we want to throw out there that could be an option in kick return game or punt return game, like if they're trying to get on the field and get some reps and prove what they can do with their explosiveness or with their toughness, that's great. I think they should do that. You save Garrett Wilson for a situation where you might really need it. I don't know. I think they'll start moving. I think that they will start moving away from Garrett Wilson, but I don't know that.
I think you have to find ways to deploy Emeka Egbuka when he's clearly extremely explosive, and he's shown that not just in the kick return game, taking that little 20-yard pass and turning it into an 85-yard jaunt last week. I think you're right. You have to find ways to use him. I think that Rutgers will be trying very hard to shorten the game on Saturday. Knowing that Ohio State's defense has been soft as far as the run game. That's why I don't necessarily think that they'll try to push the envelope in the passing game like Spencer does. I think Rutgers is going to have to beat up Ohio State man-to-man in the trenches. And I think Ohio State's defensive line, so much of playing defensive line is about just confidence and feeling like, hey, I can win this battle. Last week, all the talk was about Ohio State needs to win one-on-one battles, win one. They got 9 sacks. I think that this week we're going to see an Ohio State run defense show up like Ohio State run defenses are supposed to. They're going to hold Rutgers to under 125 yards on the ground.
Well, I think that would lead to Rutgers being forced to test the air.
Yes,
which would lead to the interceptions.
Okay.
You can both be right.
I like how this is symbiotico.
Capiche.
Hey.
Yeah, we can kind of be symbiotic.
Yeah, I'm like New York, you're like New Jersey. We're like right there.
Oh,
we're like
not,
right
if
here.
you're New, I am not New Jersey.
Yeah.
That is no.
Yeah.
No.
New York is the veteran state.
Yeah.
You're the young uprising.
You're the up and comer, buddy. Come on, guy.
All right, last bold prediction. All right, let's see here. Jack Sawyer
Go on.
records 2 sacks in this game. He's been close. He's playing well. There's a bunch of young guys. You see Tyleik Williams, you see JT Tuimoloau, you see Ty Hamilton, who's playing really well. But Jack Sawyer is going to be a beneficiary of Tyleik Williams' rise. He's going to be on the receiving end of JT Tuimoloau's rise. And the way Haskell Garrett's playing, the attention has to go elsewhere right now, away from the top 5 overall prospect, which is pretty crazy to say. But that's the way this defensive line is trending. And so I think you're going to see opportunities in one-on-one battles. And when you get a 5-star defensive end, even as a true freshman, against a tackle that he's obviously more talented than. I think there's opportunities for those one-on-one battles. I think back to Zach Harrison as a freshman. His first sack came against an Indiana tackle that was nowhere near as talented as he was. Yeah. And it was just his skill took over and he got to the quarterback. I think Jack Sawyer can have the same kind of effect against Rutgers, so I'll give him 2 sacks in this game as my last bold prediction.
I'm going to need some help from Coach Greg Studrawa keeping track of this after we get back from Rutgers on Sundays and make sure that I get this bold prediction right. But I believe that Paris Johnson will have 10 knockdown pancake blocks against Rutgers.
Okay.
I can't believe that Spencer has never thought of doing this with the offensive line before.
Well, as much as this guy loves offensive line.
I was going to talk about Luke Whippler and knockdowns because I don't know if you guys know this.
Is he
from New Jersey?
Wow.
And he likes, but get this though, he likes bagels.
I like bagels.
He likes pizza.
I like pizza.
I like pizza.
And this is the kicker. He likes Bruce Springsteen.
Okay, so I'm not from New Jersey because Bruce Springsteen sucks.
Yeah, he's not very good. I'm going to have to pass on that, but I'll definitely take up the other 2.
Yeah.
He gave us some recommendations for where to go for bagels and pizza.
Yeah. But we're going to stuff your face.
2 years ago.
Yeah.
Where also Spencer got his nickname on that trip.
That's true.
Chives.
So one of the all-time great trips of all time. Paris Johnson, as I was saying, 10 knockdown pancake blocks. The dude is simply phenomenal.
Okay. Yeah, he's playing great. No doubt about it. I don't know why I'm dancing.
Yeah, you're in the mood.
Just feeling it.
You're ready to go to Rutgers this weekend.
Love Rutgers.
The combination of Paris Johnson and DeJuan Jones on the right side is one of the most remarkable things that you're ever going to watch. And they're both having, you can tell, or they're enjoying going after people and putting them on the ground. It was a couple weeks ago that Paris Johnson he did his work, picked up another guy, drove him all the way to the sideline. And I'm not usually a person who pays great attention on a play-by-play basis to the offensive lineman. It's hard, and I'm not a professional talent evaluator. So I skip that for the most part, and I defer to Spencer. But you can't help but notice what those guys are doing, and if what you're talking about with Travion Henderson and maybe trying to ease C.J. Stroud back into it, keeping him and the shoulder healthy or testing it out or however it works, leaning on that ground game, there'll be a lot of opportunities for Paris Johnson to just murder guys and bury them in the meadowlands.
Yeah, I agree. I'm not done.
Murder and burial.
I'm not done though. I have another bold prediction.
Cool.
First of all, I need to dial back the C.J. Stroud one because I'm realizing if Travion Henderson has 345 yards, it seems unlikely Stroud's going to throw for 300.
And you said Rutgers was going to shorten the game.
Yeah, they're going to try to, but they're not going to. They're going to try to, you see. So I'm going to reduce that Stroud number to 225 passing, but still completing 65% of his passes. But I do want to add one more thing here, and I think this is a situation where Tyreek Smith's light bulb has to come on this week. I think he, obviously sat out last week dealing with the slight concussion issue. If he's good to go, there is no way you can watch what's happening with Jack Sawyer, with JT Tuimoloau, with all these other guys and not realize that your moment better come because you are messing with your money.
As a wise man once said.
A very wise defensive end at Ohio State once told me that you're messing with your money.
Yes.
And Tyreek Smith's money is on the line if he finds himself with a shortened role at Ohio State. And I think that this week is his opportunity to reassert himself as the dominant pass rusher on this team. And I think he's going to get a pair of sacks.
Coincidentally, Greg Schiano was also involved in that famous messing with the money speech. That's a story.
Do we need to give score predictions?
Sure, go for it.
Ohio State 45, Rutgers 27. What's the line?
16.5, I believe. Does it change, Spencer?
I do not believe so. I think it's either 16 or 16.5. I think you can get it. Shop around, folks. A lot of lines.
Shop around.
A lot of lines, a lot of numbers out there. Get your number and stay true to it.
Get your best value.
Absolutely. This is also a gambling show. I'm going to go 55-21. I think this game is the kind of game where, maybe Rutgers gets the ball first and goes up 7-0 because Ohio State's defense hasn't gotten off to a good start yet this season.
Ever.
But in the long run, the talent wins. Ohio State is a team that can score 40 on literally everyone except for apparently Oregon, even though they have 400 yards or 600 yards. And 55 points seems like a good.
They also didn't score 40 on Minnesota.
Oh, man. Rats. Hey.
Forget about it. Hey.
Just saying.
Stop correcting me.
Also didn't score 40 against Alabama last year. But hey, I mean, we're just here to talk, right?
Yeah.
No, the Minnesota game
What's
was in
your
the
score
rain.
prediction?
Mr. Facts
What's your
over
score
here.
prediction?
I'll give that on weekend kickoff.
But weekend kickoff happens before this
Oh, it does?
in our
it does.
YouTube environment.
Let me think. What did I say? I think I said 50-27.
Wait, 52
That's what I said.
27 or 50 to 27?
52.
Okay.
To
Okay.
So you guys
27.
both. Okay, hold on, I'm gonna get this straight. I want the people to know.
45-27 Ohio State.
You guys both think that the Rutgers offense is gonna get 27 points on an improving young defense.
I don't actually think that, Spencer, but I've just been burned by my score predictions against Rutgers, Ohio State against Rutgers.
Well, you did predict Ohio State to score
That's why
100 points.
I'm trying to be a better, more accurate predictor of Ohio State Rutgers games,
yeah.
and I don't think.
I think Rutgers will score that many points.
Score 13 points.
I think Rutgers will score that many points because I believe that Greg Schiano has a ton of trickeration and a very young team is susceptible to that kind of stuff. I do think that's really the only way Rutgers will score is with bag of trick stuff. I don't think they're going to sustain drives against the Buckeyes. I've watched their offense against Michigan. I know Michigan's defense is a little bit more veteran than the Buckeyes right now, but I don't see their offense like being able to control the game against Ohio State. That's all I got. I'm out. Hey.
I'd love to be able to predict 100-0 again, but I just have to be a better person.
Yep.
Have to be nicer to Rutgers.
Yep.
I've been too mean.
I mean, if you're not nice in New Jersey,
I like
Things could
Rutgers.
happen.
It's a Garden State. I can't wait to get there. We're gonna be.
I haven't seen a single garden in our visits though.
That's true. They're in a different part of the state. They're not in
Beer gardens.
Hey,
forget about it.
Hey, so
Okay.
let's go get some pizza. We're gonna get on the way. Lettermen Row, the road trip, our favorite one of all time, to go stuff our face, get some road beers. It's going to be a fun October weekend in New Jersey, as it always is. That's Spencer Holbrook and Jeremy Birmingham. I'm Austin Ward. These have been our bold predictions. If you like our weird coverage and our good coverage, or any of our coverage, you can get it for $10 for an entire year as part of the On3 network if you sign up right now. Mention that I sent you from the Lettermen Row YouTube channel, and you'll still get that fantastic deal. It won't be any different. But sign up right now and get all of our coverage for Ohio State Rutgers at lettermenrow.com.